What's up? What's up? It's time for Done Way Past Funny with your host, G.D. Fenderson. Join us as we take a look back at the early works of seasoned comedians before they were seasoned with this week's guest, the iconic Tommy Chong. It's time to get down and get dope with Done Way Past Funny. Hi, and welcome to Done Way Past Funny. I'm your host, G.D. Fenderson, certified forensic humorist at large, but I'm losing weight. Our guest host for this episode is the one and only Tommy Chong. Hey, Tommy.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
We got the right link and we got it going then.
Great. I see all your guitars. I'm sorry, I'm GD Fenderson. Should I call you Tommy or Mr. Chong or
Sure.
Your Royal Highness? I don't know what to call you.
Well, I'm always high, but you can call me Tommy.
Okay, great. Do you still play?
Yeah. What's that?
Do you still play guitar?
Not as much as I should. No, I'm the arthritis is kicking in, and it always was a problem. Playing guitar was always a problem for me because I was never gifted in a sense. Thank God that I would be an unknown good guitar player by now.
See, now I did ask you because you've also played drums, I think. At least I've seen you playing drums in the movie. Doesn't mean you actually play drums.
No. I that was just for the movie.
Okay.
That was just for the movie.
It doesn't mean you actually play them, but
no. Again, I play Adam. I used to curse it because I wasn't that gifted, but now I thank God for it because the only gift I had really was my mouth, and and that was a nice gift that I found out later. But no, I learned. I played enough guitar to get me to Motown, and and I wrote, like I'm a songwriter too, but not that's not what I do for my living. Thank God. I've only written a couple of songs in my lifetime.
right.
Whereas other people like Joni Mitchell and them, they write more songs, in a half hour than I can do all my whole life. But hey, I'm just satisfied with the ineptness I got me as far as I did.
Now I'm not sure if you're one of the things I'd like to do with this is I like to look at older work or work from way back when earlier in the career, and have we look at it together, and then you say how you felt about it then and how you feel about it now.
Sure.
And one thing I have is the video from Basketball Jones.
Oh yeah.
So it now this is not going out live. So if anything you say that you want edited out, just let me know and I'll edit it out.
Oh sure.
Because
I'm real easy on that way. I don't believe in like I said, I'm just grateful I got as far as I did.
now see, I swear I'm a comedian also, and I honestly I was raised with the concept that there are no bad words, only bad intentions.
That's right.
And one thing I really want to, okay, I'm going to say it, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it because to me it's funny. See, you when I asked you if you still played guitar, because I also played guitar, and I want to say, if we had just two more niggers, we could put your band back together.
That was the Bobby Taylor suggestion. When we because it was so funny because when Motown found us, we were just a bar band,
right?
And I was a guitar player in the bar band, and Bobby was a singer. But when they heard us, all of a sudden we became a group, and
Right.
we needed a name, and that was the first name that that Bobby that we came up with. We laughed so hard at it until I don't know if you ever heard the what happened uh, when we named ourselves that. We put it on the marquee, and, and that night we had nobody in the club except one very angry, pissed off black lady wrestler named Lottie the Body. Lottie the Body. She was also a stripper, but she was also a very talented wrestler. And so she came to the club, and she sat in the audience. There was no audience. She was the only one there. And after a while, she goes, "Well, I see all the end, but where's the C?" And my dad, who was Chinese, he never knew what we were doing. We
Right.
never let him in on it. And he's old fashioned. So when she come up with the C word, my dad walked over to her and told her, we don't allow that kind of talk here. And so Lottie picked my dad up and body slammed him
Ooh. Now, how old
on the
was your
dance
dad?
floor. My dad was well in his 60s, 70s. And so I jumped off the stage, and she body slammed my ass. and all the brothers, of course, all the brothers on the stage laughing their ass off. That was the funniest thing in the world. And finally, my brother came and saved us, and he called Lottie off, and so we changed the name to Four Colored Guys and a Chinese Lad.
Oh, now I didn't. I used to play in the band, and at one point, well, I was the only black musician in the group. The other four guys were
Yeah,
all white, and it was just the four of them before I joined the band. So they'd already had the band together, and they
yeah,
decided that they needed an additional guitar player. So the other guitar player had seen me play, so he wanted me in the band. And they said, well, we should change the name of the band. We need a new name now because the old name doesn't fit because I funked it up a little bit.
yeah,
so,
yeah,
and
yeah. Of
so,
course.
and so the drummer says, well, we should name it Behind the Eight Ball and put the black guy up front. And I thought it was hilarious. But the other
Yeah,
guys are like going, no, we can't do that. Nobody would like. I said, really? I said, because behind the eight ball doesn't really sound racist. We just know that I'm the eight ball, but nobody else has to know it. It's a
yeah,
phrase. It's a common phrase
yeah,
behind the eight ball.
yeah,
Yeah. And so nobody has to know it's a double entendre, but they were cowardly.
yeah. Well, the truth is, it's us musicians. We're the equal opportunity guys.
Yeah.
Because if you can play, it doesn't matter what color you are. You know.
And that's one thing I was going to bring up. Because I think comedy, well, actually, I think, yeah, comedy and music are two things that you can be, well, music more so. It doesn't matter as long as you're good, as long as you're
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Now, comedy, it was like that, at least back when, like, when Don Rickles was,
yeah,
popular. He could get away
yeah,
with saying anything about anybody, and it was totally
yeah.
acceptable.
Because
And
it was all done with love. It was all
yes,
done with love. Yeah, and like Don would be the last guy. He had that license because he was a minority. And that's the way it is. And that's the way we looked at it too. We never, especially in Canada. Because if you when we started off in Canada, we started off it was the city that was against us.
right.
It wasn't the people. It was the bloody city because we got so popular. We packed downtown Legion Hall every Saturday night, but then they made us quit because of the Puritan liquor laws, and so we would have uh, you know hundreds of rock and roll kids on the street with nothing to do and nowhere to go at 12 midnight. you
Right.
know and so the city decided it was our fault, you know, and so they kicked us out of town. They literally ran us out of Calgary, which was okay because we were ready to go. Any excuse to leave Calgary, we'll take it. And we went to Vancouver, and now Vancouver was much more liberal and much more corrupt, in every which way. The police were corrupt. Everybody was corrupt in Vancouver, and that's like the junkie capital of the world. And so Vancouver, we got away with everything in a way. You know, uh, Back then there was like what do you call it? They would take the law into their own hands as far as anything prejudice and that goes. There was a lot of problems we had with the white kids from the universities would come
Right.
down to Chinatown, when they got drunk and they felt brave enough, they'd come down and pick fights with the minorities in Chinatown and that, and that went on, that probably still going on, because especially in Calgary. But you know what it all did, it just made everybody okay, comfortable with who they are,
Right.
you know, and so and there was we never had any problems, with the problems they got now, mass shootings and all that problem. We never had that back then. There was killings, and but it was old fashioned jealousy and
Right.
and and,
Over a
and
girl.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course. There's one great story, that will be told one day. Uh, the singer in our group, Tommy Milton, was a star football player,
Right.
and he was small, but he was fast, and he was touted to be the next big deal. Canadian too. He
Right.
was a Canadian, even though he was black. He was his ancestors were from Texas,
Right.
and they when they got freed down in the states, they wagon trained up to Edmonton. Now check this out. They went as far north as they could on the map,
Right.
to get away from Texas.
Right.
So they get up to Edmonton, but guess what? The founding fathers of Edmonton would not let them camp in Edmonton. They had to keep going north, and then they found a place called Amber Valley,
Right.
and that's where all the ex slaves and so on went to Amber Valley. And my first wife, Maxine, her family, they're descendants of that wagon train,
Oh,
and
okay.
and Tommy was a descendant too, and that a lot of talent came out of that Amber Valley, with Tommy. But Tommy, he was such a good football player, that it was he was destined to be the next star. But he hurt his leg, in practice or whatever, and he took the cast off too soon. And I think he did it on purpose because his future wasn't too bright, being tackled by 300-pound guys.
Right.
It's not a good way to make a living. And so he ended up being Little Daddy and singing with our group, until we broke up. But yeah, we got a great history of the brothers coming up from the states. Yeah.
That was cool. Uh, if it's okay with you, I'm going to go ahead and start the clip from I forgot what it's called now. Basketball Jones with
Oh, Basketball Jones.
yeah,
Yeah.
with Tyrone Shoelaces.
Yeah. Tyrone Shoelaces.
So and I keep thinking when I hear that name Tyrone Shoelaces, I keep hearing tie your own shoelaces, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. That's what it is.
oh okay.
Cheech is a master of word. He's a wordsmith,
Oh, okay.
and so that's one of Cheech's Tyrone Shoelaces. Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't say it because that's how I was hearing it in my head.
Yeah, that's what he meant. That's
Okay,
what he meant.
great. I
Yeah.
I stumbled on something by accident. All
Yeah.
right. So let me get this real quick. And now, just so you know, people will be able to hear us over top of the video. So,
Okay.
all right. Here we go. This is well, do you remember what do you remember about this? So when was the last time you watched it?
I haven't seen it for a long time. Long time.
Okay. Well,
Let it
so
roll.
it's
Let's
three
see.
minutes, 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
Okay.
Basketball Jones, I got a basketball Jones, got a basketball Jones. Yes, I'm the victim of a basketball Jones. Ever since I was a little baby, I always be dribbling. In fact, I was the baddest dribbler in the whole neighborhood. Then one day, my mama bought me a basketball, and I love that basketball. I took that basketball with me everywhere I went. That basketball was like a basketball to me. I even put that basketball underneath my pillow. Maybe that's why I can't sleep at night. I need help, ladies and gentlemen. I need someone to stand beside me. I need someone to set a pick for me at the free throw line of life. Someone I can pass to. Someone to hit the open man on the give and go. And not end up in the popcorn machine. So cheerleaders, help me out. I got a basketball job. Oh, that sounds so sweet. I got a basketball job. Come on, Coach Speed and Red Red, just sing along with us.
Wow. Wow. First time I've seen it.
Oh, no, well, I'm glad to take you down memory lane.
Oh, thank you. First time I've seen it all the way through. I saw bits and pieces of it. But when you're the subject of the situation, a lot of times, like there's a lot of movies that I've done that I don't, we saw the screenings, we saw the all the stuff, but to
Right.
see it, the finished product, I can't remember saying that I that I saw uh, any of my movies all the way through. You know, like without having to leave halfway through. You know, because
Right,
of
right.
the
So,
crowd and that.
so you never got to enjoy it as a fan, as like we did.
Right, right. Now I'm enjoying a lot of stuff as a fan. It's really good. Oh,
That's,
oh, I got my alarms going off here.
oh, okay,
I got to shut it off. I think I did.
okay.
I did. I shut it off.
Now,
Okay.
so what are your impressions of it now? Many years later.
I love it. I love all the little things, little messages. Had the
Yes.
Beatles in there. Well, you know, it was George Harrison played guitar in the beginning.
Oh, I did not know that.
That's George Harrison playing guitar.
How'd you get him to do that? Not,
Well,
not,
he was in the studio, and working on his album, and he was there with what's her name, Joni Mitchell. Joni Mitchell
okay.
was there working on her album, and so we were in Joni's album, and I don't think we did anything for George, but he sure did that guitar solo for us.
That's
That's all
that's
George
cool.
Harrison.
That is
Yeah, yeah,
that is so cool. Uh,
yeah,
I am amazed at the way some things cross over like that. Just
yeah.
the things that happen by accident.
Well, that was Lou Adler. You know, Lou Adler was so connected. And like we were stumbling around until we met Lou Adler, and then the minute we met Lou Adler and decided we wanted to do comedy records, then oh man, that was it. We hit the jackpot because within days we had a full length what do you call it, billboard on Sunset in Cheech and
Okay.
Chong. And it was really funny. I years ago, before Cheech and Chong, I had played in a circus, well, like a carnival, for a girly show,
Right.
and they shipped all the girls up from L.A. Uh, the strippers and so on. And so I got to know all the girls. Of course, I was the only guitar player.
Right.
There's me and a military drummer. We were the band, and so of course I got to know all the girls. And one of the girls, Pandora, very beautiful uh, uh, soul sister, and so she just knew me as the musician,
Right.
short hair and kind of straight looking. Well, when I became Cheech and Chong, I had my hair down to my shoulders, and so I hadn't talked to her for about a year or so, maybe longer. And anyway, when I went to LA and we did our record, it looked like we are going to be big stars. Well, I called her up, and she was anxious to see me, and so she drove down, and when she saw me with my long hair and my hippie look, she never got out of the car. She stayed in the she stayed in her car. She said, "Oh, hi, listen, I got to go now." Whoa, and she took off. Well, about a day or so later, she saw our billboard on Sunset.
Oh.
And so then I get a call from Pandora. Hi, I'm having a bath right now. You want to come over? But by that time, I was with my lady, and I never had the freedoms that I once had. But it was funny to be rejected just on looks, you
Oh.
know. And then they see the billboard, and oh, he's not so bad after all.
I've been there, but
Yeah,
not because, like I said, I'm a comedian, but I'm not. I've never achieved the heights that you did, and I probably
yeah,
never will because I started so late. I started at 54, so
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
63 now, and it takes a
yeah.
while to So
It
I
does and it doesn't. Hey, don't worry, you're going to be there. If
yeah
it's if it's ordained, that's the way
yeah
it
yeah
is. If it's ordained. But yeah, I started late too, man. I was. I'm playing a teenager in my 40s.
Yeah, but by the time you did the movies, well, by the time you did the movies, you were in your 40s, right?
Yeah,
But the
yeah,
albums, you did those in like, well, 70
yeah.
three,
I was in
70,
my
72,
30s.
73.
Yeah, I was in my 30s for sure.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I was. Let's see. Yeah, I was early 30s. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was 30s. And yeah, next thing you know, doing movies. Yeah, it was. It was 7 years in between.
Oh,
We
okay.
did our album. We did our albums, and 7 years later, we did our movies. And
Right.
then 7 years after that, Cheech and I broke up, and he went his way, I went my way. And then not too long ago, we got back together again, but just for the sake of the weed business and you know, and the odd personal appearance that we do together. But no, we actually he went his way, I went my way. He didn't. Well, I can't say no. The truth is, he didn't believe in the weed thing.
Oh, okay.
And when I got busted, he sort of like decided that that's my trip. He was not going to go on my trip with me, and so I was. I did the jail time and everything else, but it turned out really good because no more than I get out of jail, then they legalized weed, and now we're looking at an international company that we're going to be bigger than we could ever hope to be with the records or even the movies.
Okay, well, I guess we should plug your site. Was it TommyChongsHemp.com?
Yeah, yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
yeah, because I nutraceutical products.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, we lucked out with the hemp products
Yes.
because it's legal all over the world, and even though but hemp has natural THC in it, you
Right.
can't separate it, and the THC is only 3.5% or something like that, but it's enough to give you a nice buzz, you know
Right.
and so we're selling these cruise chews. They're gummies,
Right.
and oh man, they're one of our best sellers. And I'm also selling the sleep aid, which I love very much. This is it's called Nice Dreams,
Right.
and it gives you nice dreams. It really helps me. It's funny because my wife, she has problems sleeping, and she took this for a while, but she's a purist. She
Right.
doesn't like to take anything unless she absolutely has to.
Right.
But she's also an anomaly because she looks so good. Uh, that she looks so good that now I have to lie. I can't, you know, I gotta say, okay, yeah, you're right. She's 30 years younger than me, and not 10. But it's okay. I don't
Now,
mind being the old pervert.
well, there's some street cred to that. There's some cred to that. Just say, well,
Yeah,
that's his arm candy. Wow. Okay. That was the Tommy Chong, the iconic Tommy Chong. Uh, this interview went 2 hours, so we're going to divide this up into a number of parts. And thank you all for watching.